Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Sunday, another daily, call them daily. They're not daily live chats. Live chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Good to see everybody. Hope you're doing all right. And you've enjoyed your weekend's proceedings. I don't know how many of you have seen what's been going on in London with Remembrance, the truth of the matter against what we're having rammed down our throats by the mainstream media. But we will come to that over the course of the week, definitely. If you haven't done so, please, there's 42 of you in at the moment, hit the like button. That will help the algorithm start pushing this around. I very much appreciate it. Yes, let's have a quick look at some of the hellos before we get much further. So we got Blue Angel, hello, good to see you. Chris Card, Gary Thornbury, Anthony P, Jason Hughes, good evening to you. Minge Pump, love it. Tommy I666, good to see you. I will answer your question very shortly. Tony Tasker, Walking in the Sun, Play Apps, Blood Nose in the background there. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you. Richie Reports, Dan, Angela Gardner. I'm fine, thank you very much. Hooch Up and Toe. Hey, I love that name. DJ Dave. Loads and loads of the regulars, and Matlock Meat, loving the channel, Andy. Thank you very much indeed, all of you. It's good to see you. It really is. Now, what we're going to talk about this evening is ULEZ. There's a couple of stories from drivers that I've been sent during the week that I want to go over with you because I think it's important that information gets out there and, share it with you. It's all about shared experiences. Hello, Clown World YT. Good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. It's one of my friends from YouTube. Please make sure you go and subscribe to him because he does some great stuff. I did a live stream with him as well not so long ago, and that was fun. Hi, Mum. Good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. Great to have you in the chat as well. Yes, before I go any further, Paz just did a great live stream detailing what really happened at the Cenotaph. And I suggest you all go and have a look at that. And that was very, very educational. There's a distinct difference between what the media is telling you and what actually happened. It was very interesting. Hi, Andy. Good to see you as well. Now, I have a question, and I will put this starred comment on here. Yeah, Tommy, did Andy see the fake of him? Now, did anybody see the fake Andy the Gabby Cabby turn up on YouTube? Give me a 1 if you did. Give me a 2 if you didn't. I thought it was actually very funny. Yeah, Blood saw it. Anthony didn't. Anybody else? Another 1. Gene, lots of 2s. Right. There's a YouTube channel called Face Replace who do essentially deep fake AI type things to do with YouTubers, television celebrities and all that sort of thing. And I got done, didn't I? A couple of people sent me the link yesterday. Somebody thought I'd find it offensive. On the contrary, I found it very funny indeed. Hello, Ryan. Good to see you, my friend. Frugal Stew's in the house as well. Good to see you. Yes, I found it very funny indeed. You know, there's 2 types of things that go on YouTube. There's the outright trolling where people just make up bullshit about you for the sake of it and make your life hell. Or there's people that do funny cartoons and stuff and make you giggle, and this comes under that one. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you've got 10 subscribers or you've got 10,000. If I find it funny, I'll tell you. If I find it offensive, I'll tell you. But this was amusing, and I've downloaded it, and I will play it for you now. So you will see what I'm going on about. So here it is. A phone call with Sadiq Khan. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I've got Sadiq Khan on the blower. After all the recent stuff going on regarding this Wally, I thought I'd get him on so I can ask him if it was him on that recorded telephone call, or was it a clone of his voice? Now, you know I can't stand this man, but I have promised the creep that I will keep my calm with him if he takes my phone call.
Hello, if it's you, Rishi, I haven't got the time for your shit.
Hello, Sadiq. It's Andy, the Gabby Cabby. So, was it you on that phone call, or was it a clone of your lying, sneaky, ratty voice?
Yes, it was indeed myself. And as I said in the call, I'm the big cheese around here. The top fucking dog. The uber fucking meister. London is mine. Rishi hasn't got a say in what happens in this city, and he bloody well knows it. The guy is a joker.
That clears everything up for me. Thanks for speaking to me today, Sadiq. I really appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can confirm that it was indeed that bell end on the recorded phone call that has been doing its rounds on the internet recently. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I thought that was pretty damn funny. I don't know about you. Give me a one in the chat if you thought it was funny. Yeah, you know when you made it, when people start cloning you. Or give me a 2 if you didn't like it. Me personally, I loved it. As I said, it's a channel called Face Replace. I don't know if Blood can stick the link to their channel in the chat for me. That'd be good if we can get them some more subscribers, because they do some great work and it's actually very, very funny indeed. Now, on to the main topic of conversation, ULEZ. Let's just out that one out of there. A little bit of organisation going on. I got 2 stories during the week to do with ULEZ, and another piece of information as well. 2 horror stories, really, with regard to dealings with TfL. What's actually happening with TfL. Both of these people have got penalty charge notices in the post, and they're doing something about it. They want to, appeal and get out of it. So they're quite involved, and I wanted to show you. The first one started off with this email here. Hi, Andy. I've been watching your videos and thought you might like the comprehensive challenge I'm making against my fine on a 1998 Rover Coupe. You'll have to excuse my handwriting on part of this, but I'm happy for any thoughts on points made, discussed with others, challenged, and with viewers. All the best, and keep shining the light on Sadiq and his disgusting ultra-low emission zone. Well, I intend to. That's the whole idea. Now, what he sent me, this individual, was 3 pages of information to do with challenging the ULEZ. This is the first one. The ULEZ does not provide clarity on there being a charge on the signs. Now, this is the route that Noel Cox is going down. No alternative route to avoid ULEZ is provided, nor any lead in signage. The notice sent does not comply with statutory 14-day notice as received on day 15. As the vehicle concerned was registered before 2001, what factual information has been relied on to determine alleged non-compliance, or is this assumed? The penalty charge notice does not comply with paragraph 3A of 54 of the London Local Authorities Act, whereby a PCN is required to state grounds on why a PCN is payable. Part of the grounds must be definition, accuracy, describe the location. The PCN does not. And then there's another couple of pages there as well. They've really gone to town on this one. And you can't actually read those, but they're all typed in. So that's the first challenge. And, you know, there's a lot of regulation. There's a lot of stuff in there. And it's like Noel Wilcox was saying the other day, arm yourself with knowledge. If these people are going to come after you, arm yourself with knowledge. And, you know, hopefully you will win the day. Now, the thing that gets me with ULEZ and London and everything, it's all about toxic air and toxic air quality. You know, that's what the whole thing's based on, not the cash grab we know it to be. Now, I took this picture earlier, and this is the air quality index in London. I took this screen dump at midday, and you can see, apart from a couple of yellow areas which are moderate, it's all green. In fact, the air quality in London is fairly reasonable, and no amount of ULEZing or £12.50s or anything of that nature is going to change it. So you have to wonder what's going on. Now, the second person, and I'll share the screen with you here, has got a similar issue. And they sent me a document called ULEZ Moan, plus the reply from TFL. I'll make this one full screen so you can see it. Okay, hi Andy. I've been subscribed to your YouTube channel for some time now, particularly interested in your coverage of Sadiq Khan's ULEZ scam. You might be interested in my recent experience. With the introduction of ULEZ, I started preparing to replace my much-loved Mondeo diesel for a compliant petrol car, eventually ordering one in March 2003 for delivery in around 12 weeks. As my Mondeo had a private plate, this is another example of issues with a private plate, which I had for over 26 years. I was advised that my new car was due to be delivered in mid-October. I parked the registration number and reverted it to its original one. This was in early September, and by mid-September, I had both the new V5C for the Mondeo and the retention document for the private plate, which I forwarded to the dealer in preparation. Come October the 14th, I picked my new car up and drove home. On October the 26th, I received a PCN complete with photo for 14th of October for the new fully compliant petrol car. Needless to say, I immediately made a representation to TFL pointing out their error. When I checked online, the website stated we do not have details for this vehicle. However, their PCN quite clearly states the registration number, make and model, plus my name and address. If they had no details, how could they send my PCN bearing all the details? Things got worse. A couple of days later, 2 more PCNs arrived. Another photo, definitely my car. PCN had made model details, etc. But once again, the TFL website stated we have no details of the vehicle. Another 2 representations sent out with a copy of the V5, asking how they imagined a brand new petrol vehicle from a major manufacturer could possibly be non-compliant. While I wasn't rude or offensive, my latest representation was decidedly sniffy, asking why their website had no record of my car. But their charging department appeared to know everything about it, except, of course, the fact it was totally compliant. Along with the V5, I also attached screenshots of the motorway and the ULEZ checker websites, which clearly showed it was a brand new car. Another day, yet another PCN. Same errors, this time my response much more sniffy, inquired why only the TFL website appeared to be lacking standard DVLA information. On the 9th of November, I received a response from the first representation. I attach a copy, which I'll show you. You'll note that it states following a review, they're going to drop the whole thing. And, you know, it goes on. And there's a lot of information here. Now, so some points, the scenario is typical of most things related to TFL, lack of coordination, poor database management, an obsession with filling the mayor's coffers, The Wrath of Khan. That was a fairly decent film, which I tend to remember. But yeah, it's a complete and utter shambolic mess, all of it. And you can see there. Now, the constant fear with all of this is if it progresses to the bailiffs, to the courts, and you end up with more money. I was sent this a little while ago. It was actually Noel that sent me this, and it's what somebody had sent across to him. it had gone as far as the courts and therefore the bailiffs and Marston Recovery were getting involved, and they want 589 quid. Now, a lot of that will be their fees and everything on top of that as well. Absolute crazy stuff. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go through some of your comments, and then I'll show you the response to that latest representation. So we've got 10 comments already. Okay. Stuart Hawes, hello from my hospital bed. What have you done to yourself? Best wishes. Hope you're okay. Let me know in the comments or send me a message, one of the two. Hope you're all right. Bradley, the town I live in, Edinburgh, is sadly getting a wasteful low emission zone. Yes, I did read about that, and I also read about them banning parking on curbs and issuing fines. At last I looked, that was against Road Traffic Act anyway. So, yes, it's mad, isn't it? Rishi reports ULEZ has been a bit forgotten about, hasn't it? What with everyone talking about other issues. Yes, it has. You've got the issues in the Middle East. You've got this weekend, for example. I'm not finished with that by any stretch of the imagination. There's lots more to talk about there, but you are dead right. Mark and Janice, Andy, did you ever think that being patriotic would be relabeled as far right? Yes, I love my country. I want the best for it. Therefore, I am far right. Apparently, according to the mainstream media, Sadiq Khan and everything else. Crazy world we live in, isn't it? Crazy country. But yeah, I'm with you there. BC, London is going down the same road as China with all this totalitarianism against drivers. Absolutely. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And they're getting charged right out of it. Who's the next one? Matlock Meat. ULEZ is clearly a tax grab. A compliant car can drive hundreds or thousands of miles in a ULEZ zone for free versus a car that requires payment, which could only nip in. Correct. That's exactly what it is. An absolute cash grab. It really is. Now, going back to the matter at hand, this person received a response from TfL to one of their representations, which I will put up on the screen for you. And before I do, if I can just say welcome, everybody. This is a daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby, live stream on a Sunday. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already and you're just joining us. Good to see you all. Appreciate the support. Also, if you are a new viewer, please consider subscribing. Free to do. And all that will do is make sure you keep up to date with everything that I bring out. That's 4 to 5 videos, Monday to Friday, and live on Sunday. I try and be as busy as possible and get you as much information as possible. Tomorrow's videos will be dominated a little bit by events over the weekend, but you'll see what I have to say then. Anyway, this representation, let's have a look at this. So, share screen. Okay, so this is redacted, but this is what the guy got from TfL. Now, you'll note that this was the first representation, you know, not to do with all the rest of the stuff. This just literally addressed the first PCN. Thank you for your recent representation against the issue of the above-mentioned ultra-low emission zone. Penalty charge notice for your vehicle registration mark. We write to inform you that following a review of the issue of the PCNs, together with the circumstances and points raised, we've decided to exercise our discretion and accept the representation. This decision has been taken despite the fact we do not consider one of the 6 statutory grounds of representation have been established. We've therefore cancelled the PCNs listed above, and no further action will be taken in respect of them. The decision does not relate to any other PCNs or contraventions for any other scheme. So, you know, they've let him off one by the looks of it, but the mess will continue. Now, where they go on about 6 statutory points, they're crap. I'm just going to see if I can Google them, because I was going to do this and I forgot. points ULEZ exempt. Here we go. Challenge a penalty charge notice. I'm just finding this. Yeah, there we go. Found them. So present, share screen. Now this is the TFL website, and this gives you a list of the 6 grounds on which you could challenge a PCN. Ground 1, you're not the registered keeper. Ground 2, you'd already paid it. Ground 3, no penalty charge payable. Well, I'd say ground 3 was where we were there. Ground 4, vehicle used or kept without my consent. Ground 5, charge exceeds the amount payable. Ground 6, the vehicle was hired out. Now, if you don't meet any of those grounds, then what will happen? They will inevitably turf you out and say, well, we're not going to entertain your representations. You can go to hell. And that happens quite a lot. I had a big problem with that myself, and I had to fight tooth and nail and even, involve my local MP. It was an utter damn right disgrace. Now, let's see what we've got for comments. Just 5 more in there. Okay, right. Something else came to my attention before I came live. As you know, they've got these mobile ULEZ cameras going around the vans. I go to Heathrow regularly, and when you see them going up and going around, they put them in positions where you don't have a choice. You've literally got to go with it, and you run across them. It's bad. And they now have security details with them, looking after them, because they're worried about the Blade Runners and anybody doing anything which they shouldn't to them. And I come across this here off one of the groups online. Tonight, one of our own older female protesters was deliberately run over at the Champion by the support vehicle and drove away from the scene. Police were called, and they, along with the ambulance, turned up on the scene of the crime. I was able to stop the van and support car at Badgers Mount roundabout to M25, where the police intercepted. We, as a small group, are local community people who are expressing our right to legally protest because we feel strongly about what is happening to people here and the effect this corrupt tax is doing to them. But it is clear that these people who work for TFL and Capita are turning into thugs who believe they are above the law. They're trying to antagonize us. Please, from now on, do not attend on your own. Record everything from start to finish and remain peaceful. So it looks like, a group of local people turned up to effectively express their displeasure at one of the ULEZ vans, and they came off worse. And the person's right. If you're going into a situation like that, one of these can be your best friend every time. The camera doesn't lie, after all. I've got some other information that I haven't uploaded, which I'll do at some other stage, to do with ULEZ locations, the cameras, the vans, and all the rest of it, and some other bits as well, which I'll bring to you at another point. But for now, I'm going to go back to a couple of these comments. Jason Hughes, the ULEZ zone will gradually get bigger, like it already has on the outskirts of London. Yeah, it goes out to the very edge of the M25. So you've got London, you've got the M25 round it. And literally, as soon as you turn off the M25 and go in, you're in the zone, any part of London, including Heathrow. And they've even got a dog leg that comes out and covers Chessington World of Adventures. That's another clue that it's a big cash grab. It's crazy. Now, the fear with all of this, of course, is if they think they can get away with it in one place, it will expand. You look at other cities, other population centres in the UK, you will get Scotland, you will get Oxford, you will get Southend, you will get, Wales. They're trying to clobber the drivers. You will get it creeping around everywhere. Mission creep, I think they call it. And, it will give the drivers a hard time. And they need to be led to understand they can't get away with it. Anthony P. Didn't Khan say, due to the expansion of ULEZ, the air quality is now better? The only reason I can come up with is everyone has stopped driving. I've checked the quality of the air time and time again over this whole affair, and really it's not changed. It hasn't changed. So I can't see how paying £12.50 to go in there in the first place really cures anything. Do you? I don't. Mark and Janice, I've not heard Suella Braverman criticise ULEZ. No, she's in the news this week for criticising just about everything else, isn't she? So, no, you're right. I can't say I've heard that either. I don't think anybody really does, unless there's any political mileage in it. Andy, do you pay the ULEZ? Dan Gruner says. I'm ashamed to admit I've got an auto pay account set up with TfL because it's for business purposes. I don't want the reputation of my business tarnished with any legal action or anything like that. So I have the auto pay account set up. But what I do when I go anywhere near London or anywhere like that, I do my level best to try and avoid the camera systems. But the safety blanket is there of the auto pay. If I do get caught, then it does come out. But I will be one of these that will fight tooth and nail to get back every single last dime that TfL took from me, if and when that opportunity presents itself. Now, coming on to that, let's just have a look at this. Just where we are with the fundraiser at the moment, just diverting off to Noel Wilcox just for a second. I spoke to him the other day, just very briefly via WhatsApp about a couple of things. Now, if we go here, this is the fundraiser for Noel, where he's trying to raise the funds to take on TfL and take them to court and get this whole thing looked at again. Now you can see there's £10,448 in the kitty, and that is a hell of a lot of money in a very short space of time. I think we've done very, very well there. And you can see the link for it there, gofundme.com/take on TfL. And again, I will ask if anybody can chip in, please do so, even if it's a couple of quid. Or if you're not in a position to, please grab that link and share it across your social media. It's always great to get the word out there. Noel and, a couple of people connected with him are working very hard in the background to try and make this happen and to try and bring him to task, bring TfL to task. Noel was, I think, a little disturbed is the right description for it. He's been keeping an eye on things, and there is some comments that have been made by people which are a little negative. Now, normally he wouldn't take it personally. He wouldn't worry too much about it. But the thing is, when you're talking about other people's money and asking people to donate their money and their time to achieve something as big as this, and people question your integrity in any way, it has to be dealt with. Now, what I'm expecting from Noel, and he will do it, he was tied up today, is a video which I will play for you either in another live or during the week, just addressing some of these concerns that people might have. I obviously interviewed him, I think it was last week, wasn't it? And, the situation's moved on again from there. And there will be follow-ups. There'll be a video, there'll be another live, and there'll be updated information as we go. Noel has told me that whatever happens, I will get to know about it, and I will bring it to you on a case-by-case basis. But those initial concerns with Noel will be addressed in a video from him. 309 we have. I'd like to know how many likes we have off of that. I very much appreciate everybody coming in. If you haven't done so, please make sure you hit the thumbs up. Helps the algorithm spread this live around, the same with the rest of the videos. Make sure you subscribe to Andy the Gabby Cabby if you haven't done so already. I know most of you have. Most of you I can see in the chat. 211 likes. That's great. Thanks for letting me know, Blood. I appreciate that. Brilliant stuff. Also, make sure you share this with your contacts, any social media. That helps the channel grow, and interact as you have been. Nigel the Handyman, hello, good to see you, and hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Now, let's get back to some of these comments. I think I've actually shown you the ULEZ bits I wanted to show you, so we'll carry on with the comments. Honesty and truth. I hope that PMQs will be meaty this week. They have a lot to discuss. You know, they do. They do have a lot to discuss. Me personally, I'm cheesed off with a whole lot of it. They sit there sniping at each other across the dispatch box. They need to grow up, get a life, or get lost. You know, not necessarily in that order, but it really is getting tiresome. There needs to be constructive debate about constructive matters affecting this country, and it needs to be dealt with. Instead, you get one side doing this to the other, and no, enough. It's got to change, and we need a system in place in this country for it to change. One thing that disturbs me very much with this is the lack of media coverage for the other parties that could possibly make a difference. They're just not allowed anywhere near the mainstream. So it's the likes of me and other YouTubers that have got to try and adjust that balance. Tony Tasker, Marston are cowboys. They tried coming to me and climbing over my locked gate. They soon moved when I opened the door and let my 2 German shepherds out. Oh, brilliant. I love it. Yeah, there's a guy that I work with who's a taxi driver now, but he used to go around collecting debts, and he knows how the system works. And he had somebody, I think, come round to his house. He'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but he's got a very excitable German shepherd, and that was nearly the order of the day. I have to... yeah, that was really quite something. And I've seen his German shepherd. Very excitable young creature, really is. Now, while we're on the subject briefly of debt collectors, I've had a couple of emails in the week from somebody. I won't tell you who they are because it's not fair, but they're having problems with a solicitor called AJJB Law. Now, AJJB Law literally starts chasing your tail if you ignore debt collectors. And their question was basically, how do I deal with this? You know, how do I deal with this? I have stopped directly giving advice to things like this, even though I know systems and procedures that work. I've stopped giving advice because, quite simply, I get the crowd that says, oh, you're a taxi driver. What do you know about legal advice? So, oh, right, okay, I'm going to stop doing it. All I can do instead, thank you, Corinna. Appreciate your support. Appreciate your comment. Thank you. All I can do instead is point you in the right direction. Now, there's a site here called Beat the Bailiffs. And, you know, this site I've used to great effect over the years. It covers everything: council tax problems, loan problems, credit card problems, parking charge notice problems. The list is endless. They got letter templates. They've got all sorts of things in there that will help you with just about any kind of legal issue that you have. And they have a Facebook group as well, which matches up with that if you are on there. And it is all good stuff. So check that out, Beat the Bailiffs. If you Google it, it does actually come up the top of the list fairly highly. I think it's about 1 or 2 on the search listings. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, back to the comments. How many shops have gone out of business due to ULEZ. You know what, Laura? I don't know that figure. I should imagine, it's probably quite an impressively high figure because of the extra charges. And it's not only the shops and customers coming to them, is it? It's the workers themselves. It's the delivery drivers coming into the city to deliver everything. Hello, Russ. Good to see you. We were just talking about you. Absolutely average. If anybody is looking for new YouTube channels to go and check out, you couldn't go far wrong. Go and check out Russ. He was one of the veterans I was talking about who was in London yesterday. And, he did some stuff along with Paz 49, ex-army. Go and check both of those channels out. And they did some good stuff from the city. Michael Hancock, Starmer can't shout too much about Suella. How many of his far left politicians and councillors has he lost? Yes, I know. There was one on the marches, wasn't there? Let me see if I can find one of them very quickly. It was all over Twitter earlier. I know exactly where I can find it. Yeah. I'm just trying to find a tweet that I wanted to get a hold of. If I can find it easily, I certainly will do. No, I can't find it. That's a shame. But it was basically one of the people that was in one of the marches. Turns out they're a school teacher and also a Labour councillor. Who knew? But if you're on Twitter, go and have a look at that, and you will see it. Anna, if you cannot assist a situation and gather evidence via your mobile, if you have one, mobile's your friend. Definitely, it makes the world a bit of a smaller place, doesn't it? That's one thing, but also very crucial. If it's on there, it's evidence, definitely. Mark and Janice, Suella will go the same way as Dominic Raab and Priti Patel. They're all a bunch of bloody sniping, backstabbing so-and-sos, aren't they, really? And do the whole merry-go-round. I mean, one of those names you mentioned there, Mark and Janice, I think has been in the job about 2 or 3 times. Politics is not what it was. It's not what it was. Hasn't been for a long time, many years. And it's a shame. And what suffers? The country, us. Reform BBC, another good channel. Go and check him out. Hi, Andy. Yes, Capita employ bully boys, same as TV licensing. They're all bully boys. I had trouble with a bailiff once, come to my house to do with a fine that was about 10 years old. Do you know what I did? I called him back, dealt with it on the doorstep. They didn't like that one little bit. Richie reports, I thought taxi drivers were exempt. Well, I work in and around London and the airports, but I'm licensed by someone outside of London. I live in Margate, as you know, and I drive in there every day. So I'm not exempt. It's the vehicle that is either exempt or it isn't. That's the way of it. So I'm not sure about actual London cab drivers themselves. It wouldn't at all surprise me if they weren't. There was a cab driver on, I'm going to mention him, GB News, who was talking about the ULEZ and how disgusted he was with it. So I'm assuming on the comments that he made, they have to pay it. Blue Angel, what about the family struggling and having to pay this? They will starve and live in the dark, unable to afford to keep warm. We're going back in time. Dark Ages is disgusting. Absolutely. And not only that, you have, evening, Alan, good to see you. You have people who just jump in the car, drive down the shops for the paper, or drive across town to go and see relatives, elderly. They can't afford to do it. And sometimes you get situations where you'd have to pay ULEZ twice. You ever thought of that? ULEZ twice. Unbelievable, isn't it? Bar Brady, Tories passed the law which allow ULEZ and the cash for the cameras. There is a lot of comments along those lines. you know, Tories blaming Labour, Labour blaming the Tories. And this does go back some number of years. And there is a lot of what I suppose you would call cross-pollination between whose fault it actually is. But I remember seeing a document that the Tory government or the Tory party released for funding for TfL. And they said one of the conditions was ULEZ expansion. And they're all in it. They're all in it. Hello, Cosmic Walter. Good to see you. And I hope you're well. I love the picture. Nice cold pint of Cronenberg. Lucky Tony UK. ULEZ and the price of everything going up is to pay for the 70 billion quid furlough. It wasn't free money, and it's not fair that us people that didn't have any furlough. You know what? There was a misconception. It was free money all along. It was never free money because it has to come from somewhere and it has to be paid back. And there were an awful lot of self-employed people who simply didn't get anything. And there were a lot of company directors who didn't get anything because of the way they paid themselves. It was awful, and a lot of people went under. Kenneth, hi, Andy. What do you think about phone hackers? Give me a call. I don't do personal calls, Kenneth. If you've got something to say, give me an email, and we'll communicate that way. Appreciate it. Refined Vintage Rides. What about GB News? Doesn't Nigel want to share the fundraising link on his channel? Yeah, it's got to be worth it trying to contact him and get as much traction as possible. Mind you, Nigel's otherwise engaged for the next couple of weeks or so, isn't he? I saw a nice picture of him down in Australia, just getting off the plane. I hope they let him smoke in the jungle. Dajit Singh, we need to stop ULEZ to save our livelihoods. Thanks again, Andy. You're welcome, Dajit. Good to see you in the channel. And welcome. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Everybody's livelihoods. They just don't know. They don't know what effect it's going to have, do they? They really don't. Mike Z, have you seen my Atusi site? He filmed Tommy all day during the armistice. The MSN have all lied. GB News told blatant lies. PS, great channel. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Yes, I did see Maya Tusi. Excuse me, my voice is going. He stuck with Tommy pretty much all the way throughout. Nothing happened. There was a peaceful walk through to the cenotaph. Everybody respected the 2-minute silence, apart from a helicopter overhead, from what I'm led to believe. It all went off without a hitch. Everybody left. In some cases, went down the pub. But if you go on mainstream media, they will lead you to believe that, you know, it was something else entirely. Something else entirely. Crazy, crazy situation. Absolutely. Tony. What's Tony done? £1? Is that a super chat or a super sticker? Well, thank you very much. Whatever that happens to be, I should have got more information there, but I appreciate it. In fact, I did have a little bit of a signal drop. Can everybody give me a 1 in the chat if they can hear me okay, or a 2 if there's anything going a little bit awry? I saw the signal indicator just drop out there. Blood can hear me. Yeah, everyone's okay. Yeah, twice this evening I've seen the signal drop out slightly, and I was, what's going on here? But I have to keep an eye on that. Andy the Gabby Cabby, watching always. I don't know who asked. I've read online that the 20 mile an hour brought into my town or something different has affected so many shops they're having to close. Where are you based, watching always? You don't have to tell me exactly, just a general location. Anna Perkins, Home Secretary. Post is a poison chalice. Most have tried to do their best for the country, but they're stymied by the courts, including the foreign courts. Totally agree with you. The whole thing's a absolute sham, isn't it? Absolute sham. Hector's house. There's no, yeah. I messaged a friend of mine earlier, as I walked in this afternoon, I recorded all of the content that's going to come out tomorrow. And what actually happened, there was the Earthshot Prize on the television, and they were all sitting there looking very proud in their chairs about their recycled and reusable old stuff that they had. The fact all the stage fixtures and fittings were going to be reused, and really bigging themselves up about the Earthshot and saving the planet. And then I see a picture of Prince William getting in a helicopter. They're all hypocrites, every single last one of them. And anybody that tries to shoot down anything to do with the climate, they get cancelled. Look up what happened to David Bellamy. You know, they don't want to know. They don't want to know. Herman, I'm living in my neighbour's garage with blankets and little woolly hat to keep warm. Oh, my God. How? I hope you're okay. That doesn't sound great in this weather. I hope you can improve your situation. Now everything's going to be okay. Walking in the sun, the amount of old cars being scrapped for no reason, it's really sad. Well, I did a video on that ages ago. It's a case of what's happening to them. Where are they going? Sold to who? I mean, so many cars are just ending up on the scrap heap because of you. I think a lot of it is panic buying or panicking, you know. Yeah, Michael Khan in a Range Rover, exactly. Another hypocrite. People are panicking, chopping their cars in and getting anything because they're so worried about ULEZ. It's panicked. It's awful. Mark and Janice, it's not healthy to resent people just for being wealthy. They may have worked hard for what they have. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I mean, we all start in the same place. As a friend of mine says, we come into this life with nothing and we leave the same way. And, you know, what you do here matters. You know, it's a very, very fact of life. Dan Groomer, Somerset, Angelica, Devon. So down that neck of the woods. Okay. Richard Butler. Noel Wilcox will definitely need more financial support to get his case over the line, as TfL and the government will fight tooth and nail to avoid an upset by a normal citizen. Unfortunate. Richard, that's absolutely correct. I mean, a lot of the issue surrounding Noel and what's going on, the government could have done something about this. They could have done something about it a long time ago, but it takes a scaffolder. It takes a bloody scaffolder to do something about it, a normal citizen. Now, you make a valid point. That's why so much money is needed, because you need senior lawyers, you need senior barristers, you need the right media team, you need a full understanding. Everything has to be watertight enough that it's going to go through. Otherwise, they'll poke holes in it and it will never get anywhere, because at the end of the day, governments, local authorities have got more money than we have. It has to go right. Now, Noel has said stage 1 has started. He can't say anything about what that is beyond the fact that stage 1 has started, because it will prejudice things if they come out too soon. But it's underway. And as I said earlier, as soon as I know anything, as soon as he tells me something, I'll be all over it. You will know about it easily. Hooked on Classics. Evening to you. Is that classic cars or classic something else? I couldn't quite see your thumbnail there. Jason Hughes. Mainstream media will only publish what they want to publish. You never get the full story. You know what? You're absolutely right, Jason. I mean, I'm old enough to remember where if a tree fell down at the bottom of the road, it'd be on the news. It was an event that happened, or a car crashed up the road, or a little person was found wandering. Factual news events that we needed to know about. Now, it's the long arm of the government propaganda machine. They're all trying to influence what we do, how we do it, when we do it, and how we think it. It's disgraceful. And unfortunately, GB News, despite very promising beginnings, has fallen into that trap. They're no better than anywhere. You look at their use of language over the last week or two, far right, for one thing. It's a disgrace, all of it. Jason Hughes, Bobby, this isn't a hate chat. Is there somebody called Bobby that's come in, started gobbing off that this is a hate chat? I do have to wonder. No, this is far from a hate chat. Bobby, whoever you are. Right, okay. Yes, you know, we're all entitled to our opinions, most definitely. You know, but this is just a discussion about what's going on in the country, what's going on with all of our lives, and you know, keeping it civil. You know, is the best way I can put it. Richard Butler, Andy, how's your heating bar thing going? Have you been evicted from the garage yet? No, I'm still in the garage, and I will always be in the garage. What you see behind you is the garage scene, and that will always be there unless I've got to put anything else on. But, you know, the garage is my domain. The heater is actually fine. I mean, this time of year when it's getting cold, I've usually got a coat on and a woolly hat and everything else, but I've got a T-shirt on and I'm perfectly comfortable. And the heater is good. Now, the company that provided it to me want me to do a follow-up on it. Now, it is colder, and I will do. And I control it all on my mobile phone, which is all good. Anne-Marie Wright, Northumberland. Okay. What's it like up there? But it's bloody freezing. Matlock Meat, I don't think any of us like-minded people resent people for being rich. We simply don't like them because of how money has changed them. Money doesn't buy morals and common sense. Never forget where you came from. That is what I always try and remember. And that's what I always try and tell my kids. What do they say? Power corrupts absolutely. Absolute power corrupts. And it's the same with money as well. If you get too much money, and you know, it could change you. It could corrupt you. You could turn into something, a version of yourself that wasn't you. It's you have to stay true to yourself. You have to remain humble. You have to know who you are and where you did come from, and never forget it, no matter what happens. It's the same in any walk of life. But unfortunately, when people do have too much money, they do get desires. They do get, what's the word? Ambitions, which big money bring. And it's not always necessarily good. Hooked on classics, classic cars, bikes, and other stuff. So you've got a YouTube channel, I take it. Well, I'll check that out. And we'll, I'll get that on the community post. Kobe 1, love it. We need Trump 2.0 over here. Something different needs to happen. You know, it's the same old establishmentarianism. I mean, you get journalists as well, either trying to destroy the careers of politicians or trying to big up politicians that shouldn't even be there in the first place. And disaster strikes. I mean, you should do, you know, the United States is a prime example at the moment, tearing themselves to pieces over what's going on there with Trump and Biden and Kamala and the White House and everything else. They got their own share of problems as well as us. Omega VR, GB News is an absolute joke. Not only that, but Talk TV too. They're all the same. It's 50-50. Each presenter seems to have their own agenda. Somebody messaged me, I think a day or two ago, and said that Talk TV had come out with something a bit nefarious. Disappointing. Watching always, what I will say is shop rents and rents have been extortionate for years. Before the pandemic in town near where I live, always shutting years ago. I lost a job because of it many years ago. I did a video about shops I think it was London specific, where box shifting was on the rise, where you would see shops which were apparently occupied for an amount of time, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. And it was purely just so they didn't have to pay so much in the way of rates. That's all it was. MLAD, ULEZ would literally be over in hours if we all work together. TFL has nowhere near the resources of the people if we all work together. Unfortunately, the media does its best to divide us. Yeah, there's pockets of us, isn't there? Pockets of us all over the place. And we all have something to say. And that's about it. That is about it. Now, there are some people that say don't pay the fine, mass non-compliance. But as Noel Wilcox pointed out the other day, we all have an asset generally, a car, which can be taken. So, hopefully this legal process, this legal issue will, will go with it. Hooked on Classics. Your channel is invaluable, Andy. I don't watch TV. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All I do is try and do my best. Come out here and give you the information every day, and then go and drive my taxi and be a family man. Somebody useful. Can't believe I'm saying this, but ULEZ did me a big favour. My car was worth 450 quid. Got 290 scrap metal value plus 2,000 from my mate Sadiq. Wow. I have heard stories about that every now and again, but equally I have heard stories about the scrappage scheme being a right pain in the rump, and people having trouble extracting the money out of them. But you do get some stories. Anne-Marie White, it's cold and raining up here in Northumberland. Love it here, though. I went up to Yorkshire a long time ago, and it was like a different world. You say Northumberland. I think it was Halifax, somewhere near there, Ludden Foot, I think it was called. Completely different air, completely different scenery, completely different feel. It was beautiful. It really was. And an old-fashioned pub and all the rest of it. When I grew up in the early 80s, my family lived on pennies. I always remember that. My mum and dad split up about the time of the miners' strikes. I was about 5 or 6 when that happened. And there was my mum and I in a flat. And, there was some interesting times, especially when the poll tax was invented. That was a bit of a worry. Certainly some memories. Neil Oliver is only the good thing on mainstream now. How long can he continue for in his present form with the way that place is going? Who knows? I mean, he's got a very successful YouTube channel himself, hasn't he? Russ, I wouldn't say we were poor, but I remember my mother giving me a button once and told me to ask the neighbour to sew a shirt on it. I can imagine your mother saying that. I really could. Andy, just a reminder for the forum, the more the media push the narrative, the more they will make people believe it. The more the people believe it, the more fear they will instill, the more vulnerable we become. Very good points, and I completely agree with you. And we need to counter all of it. As much as we can, we need to counter all of it. More people need to wake up. More people need to see what's really going on in this country. More people need to realise BBC, BBC Two and Channel 3 and even 4 are not the answer to the problems. I worked out a long time ago, if I'm told something by the mainstream, go and look it up in other places and form an opinion all of your own. Neil Oliver is not happy about Boris joining GB News. I'm not happy about Boris joining GB News. I mean, in my opinion, and it's my opinion for what it's worth, there's too many politicians on that program now. So what do we do? What do we do? It's something dodgy's going on there. Bloodnose, 318 likes. That's excellent. Absolutely brilliant. That's nearly 1 like for 1 viewer. So I'm really pleased with that. Thank you ever so much. Well, we're coming up to the hour, so I'm going to start wrapping up for the evening. I'm going to want to go indoors and finish off just the bits for the videos that are coming out tomorrow. I want to thank everybody ever so much for joining me this evening. Over 300 in the chat already. We keep getting all those numbers now, so it's brilliant. If you haven't done so, please hit the like button. I know we've got a lot of them, so it's appreciated. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Again, brilliant. Thank you ever so much. Tomorrow from 8 o'clock, there'll be content coming out, 4 videos again. And I'm working on a little summit with a couple of veterans. If one that was in the British Legion earlier will look at his messages and help me out with that, I can bring that out within the next day or two. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Have a great rest of the evening. I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.